How do you grow a forest in a place that hasn't seen real rain in months? Where 95% of the land is desert and summer heat hits a blistering 50 degrees Celsius. Simple. You defy the rules of nature, and then you rewrite them. Welcome to Saudi Arabia, a kingdom famous for oil, camels, and endless sand. But now, it wants to be the next global hub of green farming. Yes, in the middle of the desert. Billions of dollars are pouring into a bold vision. Not just to survive the desert, but to transform it. With tree planting campaigns the size of countries, AI-powered farms, cloud-made rain, and even camel dung as fertilizer, Saudi Arabia is proving one thing loud and clear. This desert shouldn't grow, but it does, and it's only getting greener. A country built on sand and ambition. Saudi Arabia is the 13th largest country in the world, home to over 34 million people. The capital city, Riyadh, alone houses more than 7 million residents. The country also boasts the second largest oil reserves on Earth, making it one of the richest nations globally. Yet despite all that wealth, it imports over 70% of its food. Why? Because desert sand doesn't grow much besides, well, more sand. But now the kingdom is flipping the script. Through a massive environmental plan known as the Saudi Green Initiative, the government aims to plant 10 billion trees domestically and 50 billion across the Middle East. That's right, billion with a B if successful. It would be one of the largest reforestation efforts in human history. Fun fact, if you laid 10 billion tree saplings end to end, they could wrap around Earth over 100 times. That's how big this plan is. High-tech meets high heat. This isn't your grandma's tomato patch. Saudi Arabia is farming like it's the year 3000. In a land where the sun scorches at 50 degrees Celsius and rain is practically a rumor, the kingdom is turning to cutting-edge technology to fight the desert and win. Cloud seeding. Planes fly into dry skies and release silver iodide into the clouds, encouraging rain where there normally isn't any. It's like making your own weather forecast come true. Some areas have seen rainfall increase by up to 30% in a desert. That's a miracle. Hydrogel soil. Imagine giving sand a water upgrade. Hydrogel is a water-absorbing polymer that holds moisture hundreds of times better than regular soil. Originally developed for NASA, it now helps Saudi farmers grow lettuce, strawberries, even wheat, in places that haven't seen real rain in years. Fun fact, hydrogel holds up to 400 times its weight in water. It's basically a juice box for plants. Solar desalination. Saudi Arabia is the world's largest producer of desalinated water, making up more than 20% of global supply. By using solar energy to remove salt from seawater, they're turning oceans into irrigation systems. And it's clean, green, and sustainable. AI and drones. Farms here look more like tech labs. Drones monitor crop health, AI controls greenhouse climates, and water systems adjust automatically. One vertical farm near Al-Kharj grows plants in nutrient mist, no soil, 90% less water, and double the speed. Fun fact, that single indoor farm grows as much as a regular farm that's 50 times bigger, and without a drop of rain. Saudi Arabia isn't just surviving the desert, it's rewriting the rules. From desert dust to data-driven farming, the kingdom is proving that even the harshest places on Earth can grow green with the right tools, a lot of sun, and just a little camel poop. Greenhouses in the sands. In places like Al-Kharj, massive greenhouses use LED lights and nutrient-rich mist to grow crops, without soil and using 90% less water. These vertical farms are AI-monitored and climate-controlled, producing lettuce, strawberries, and even rice in areas where weeds used to struggle. Fun fact, some of these vertical farms in Saudi Arabia use drones to irrigate crops and check plant health. Yes, your salad might have been watered by a flying robot. Enter NEOM, the city of tomorrow. Now let's talk about the crown jewel of Saudi Arabia's vision, NEOM, a $500 billion mega-city that looks like something out of a Marvel movie. At the heart of it is The Line, a 170-kilometer-long linear city with no cars, no roads, and zero emissions. NEOM's design embraces something called zero-gravity urbanism, which sounds like an Avengers headquarters, but is actually a plan to stack city functions vertically, so nature can remain untouched across the desert floor. Fun fact, NEOM will run entirely on renewable energy, and 95% of the surrounding land will be preserved for nature. It's like building New York City without breaking a single blade of desert grass. Camels, beauty pageants, and fertilizer. Yes, camels. They're not just iconic symbols of desert life, they're also key players in this green revolution. Saudi Arabia hosts the annual King Abdulaziz Camel Festival, where camels are judged on criteria like eyelash length and lip droop. The prettiest camels can win over $1 million in prize money. Fun fact, a single camel produces enough manure each day to fertilize up to 10 square meters of land. That's a lot of green for a little brown. From Petra to the present day. Here's the kicker. Desert farming isn't entirely new to this region. The ancient Nabateans, builders of Petra, once lived in what is now Saudi Arabia. They used underground water channels and rain traps to grow crops in arid conditions thousands of years ago. In a way, Saudi Arabia isn't inventing desert farming, it's reviving it. With technology, solar panels, and data analytics. Riyadh's own green revolution. While NEOM is the headline, the capital city, Riyadh, is also going green. Under the Green Riyadh initiative, the city plans to plant 7.5 million trees, convert asphalt spaces into public parks, and lower the city temperature by several degrees. And children are being taught environmental science in schools. Urban planners are redesigning neighborhoods with shade trees and community gardens. Sustainability isn't a trend, it's becoming part of the culture. Global ripple effects. Here's why this matters to the rest of us. If Saudi Arabia, one of the driest countries on Earth, can green its deserts, so can others. The techniques being tested here, hydrogel farming, solar desalination, drone irrigation, could be used in India's Thar Desert, China's Gobi, and even California's Central Valley. It's not just a Saudi story, it's a global experiment in resilience and adaptation. Not without risks. Of course, it's not all sunshine and solar panels. Massive-scale desalination can harm marine ecosystems. Reforestation can backfire if non-native species are introduced. And critics worry that some of these projects are more PR than practical. But to be fair, Saudi Arabia isn't claiming to have all the answers. What they are doing is trying, funding moonshot projects, putting land, money, and political capital on the line. Betting that the future doesn't belong to the richest oil well, but to the greenest mind. Fun fact, Saudi Arabia is even experimenting with underground mushroom farms that thrive in dark, cool desert bunkers, because when the sun is too hot, you go underground. A greener tomorrow against all odds. So the next time you picture Saudi Arabia, don't just think of oil rigs and endless sand. Think of school children planting trees. Think of solar farms glinting in the heat. Think of AI-driven greenhouses, camels turned eco-warriors, and cities that rise without roads. Would you live in a place like NEOM? Could deserts really become the farms of the future? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more game-changing stories.